I still remember the sound of the glass shattering. It was sharp, cold, and wrong, like something had just split open in the middle of our quiet life. I was halfway down the stairs when my wife Emily screamed. Not a startled yelp, an acted scream, one that seemed a second too late and an octave too high. When I reached the living room, she was standing there, trembling, pointing toward the window. The curtain fluttered in the winter wind, and shards of glass sparkled on the floor like fallen stars. "Our house, someone broke in," she gasped, clutching her chest. I rushed to her, scanning the room. Drawers were pulled open, cushions thrown around. The TV was gone. My laptop too. It looked like chaos, but it felt off. "Did you see anyone?" I asked, heart pounding. She shook her head. "No. I was upstairs taking a shower when I heard it." I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. As I talked to the dispatcher, Emily wrapped her arms around herself, rocking slightly. There were tears in her eyes, but I couldn't help noticing how clean her hands were. No sign of the glass or panic. Still, I didn't think too deeply about it then. I was too busy trying to calm her down, too distracted by the adrenaline to notice how her eyes darted toward the door every few seconds, as if waiting for something or someone. The police arrived within minutes. 2 officers came in, flashlights in hand, moving through the rooms with calm precision. The lead detective introduced himself as Detective Harris, a tall man in his 40s with the kind of tired eyes that had seen too much. He asked us routine questions. When we left the house, when we got home, what was missing? Emily played the terrified wife perfectly, clutching my arm, her voice trembling. She even let out a sob when she said, "Our wedding photos were in that laptop." Detective Harris nodded sympathetically. "Do you have any enemies? Anyone who'd want to hurt you?" I shook my head. "No. We're just ordinary people." Emily sniffled. "What about Mark?" I turned to her. "Mark?" She looked hesitant but continued, "Your friend, he was here a few days ago, right? And you told me you two had a fight about the money you loaned him?" My stomach tightened. "Yeah, but that's not Emily, he wouldn't do this." She lowered her gaze. "I'm just saying he seemed desperate." Detective Harris scribbled something in his notepad. That was the first crack. The first hint that something far darker was unfolding beneath the surface. Mark had been my best friend since college. We'd been through everything together. Failed relationships, new jobs, late-night talks about life and regret. He wasn't perfect, but he was loyal. He'd borrowed a few thousand from me months back, and while it had caused some tension, I knew he was trying to pay it back. But when the detective called me 2 days later and said, "We found some of your wife's jewelry in Mark's car," my entire world tilted. "What?" I stammered. "That's impossible." "It was in the glove compartment," Harris said. "We also found a pair of gloves with glass residue that matches the window in your house." I sat there in disbelief, staring at my phone. Emily was in the kitchen, pretending not to listen, but her shoulders were too still, her hand too tight around the coffee mug. When I hung up, I turned to her. "They found your jewelry in Mark's car." Her eyes widened, a perfect mask of shock. "What? Oh my God, that proves it. I told you something was off about him." But her voice cracked just slightly, and I felt something cold slide down my spine. The next day, Mark was arrested. He called me from jail, his voice raw with disbelief. "Ethan, man, I swear to God, I didn't touch your house. I don't know how that stuff got in my car." "Then how did it?" I demanded. "They found Emily's necklace there, Mark." "Her necklace?" "I don't know. Someone must have. Listen, I wouldn't do this to you, you know that." I wanted to believe him, but every piece of evidence screamed otherwise. After the call, I found Emily in the bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking somber. "I can't believe it," she whispered. "Your best friend." I sat beside her, staring at the floor. "He must have snapped or something." She took my hand, squeezing it gently. "At least we're okay. That's what matters." But I noticed something in her touch, a calmness, a relief. And that night, lying awake next to her, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd missed something big. Over the next week, things got strange. Emily started acting differently. More affectionate, more talkative. She made me breakfast, left little notes on the fridge, and smiled more than she had in months. Should have felt good. But instead it felt rehearsed. Then one night I got a call from Detective Harris again. His tone was thoughtful, almost cautious. Mr. Turner, mind if I stop by tomorrow? There are a few inconsistencies we'd like to clear up. Sure, I said uneasily. What kind of inconsistencies? I'd rather explain in person. When Harris arrived the next morning, Emily greeted him with cookies and her best polite smile. He declined them. Mrs. Turner, do you mind if I take another look around the house? He asked. Of course not, she said sweetly. He moved quietly through the rooms, jotting notes, occasionally glancing at the photos on the walls. When he reached the living room, he crouched by the broken window and studied the glass. You said you were upstairs when this happened? Yes, Emily said. And you heard the glass break? She nodded. Harris looked up at her. Strange. You told my officer the alarm went off before you came downstairs. Her expression froze. I might have misremembered. He smiled faintly. People do that sometimes. Then he straightened and looked at me. Mr. Turner, can I speak to you privately? Emily's lips tightened, but she said nothing. We stepped outside. The cold air bit at my skin. Harris took a breath. Listen, off the record. I don't think your friend did this. I blinked. What? We found inconsistencies. The glass pattern shows it was broken from the inside. That means whoever did it was already in the house. My heart pounded. So you think? He nodded slowly. Your wife's fingerprints are on the jewelry that turned up in your friend's car. Too clean, too fresh. My guess? She planted it. I felt the ground tilt beneath me. But why? I whispered. That's what we're trying to figure out. He paused, studying me. I need your help, Mr. Turner. Can you keep this quiet for a day or two? I nodded, numb. When I went back inside, Emily smiled at me. Everything okay? Yeah, I lied. Just routine questions. But inside, something inside me was fracturing. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in my office staring at our wedding photo. Emily's smile glowed beneath the lamplight, bright, perfect, and utterly false. I opened the drawer where I kept old receipts and found the small security camera I'd bought months ago for the garage but never installed. I plugged it in and hid it on the bookshelf facing the living room. The next morning, I told Emily I had to leave early for work. In reality, I sat in my car down the street waiting. Hours passed before I saw her move. She looked around nervously, then walked to the garage and pulled out a small box. Inside were some of the stolen items, my laptop, our TV remote, and even the silver picture frame that was supposedly gone. She loaded them into the trunk of her car and drove off. I followed. She stopped at the park on the edge of town and met someone by a bench. My heart sank. It wasn't Mark. It was a man I'd never seen before. She handed him the box. He kissed her cheek. And just like that, everything shattered. Detective Harris and his team arrested her that evening. I was there when it happened. Emily was sitting at the kitchen table when the officers entered. Her face went pale as Harris said the words. Emily Turner, you're under arrest for filing a false police report, obstruction of justice, and evidence tampering. She turned to me, tears welling. Ethan, please. This isn't what it looks like. I stood there, frozen, the image of her handing that box to another man burning in my mind. You framed Mark, I said quietly. You destroyed everything. Her voice broke. I didn't mean to hurt you. He found out about me and Daniel. I thought if I blamed him, he'd keep quiet. I panicked. Ethan, please. Detective Harris cuffed her gently but firmly. Let's go, ma'am. She sobbed as they led her away, her words echoing in the empty room. I love you. Please believe me. But all I felt was an aching hollowness. Mark was released later that week. When he came over, he looked at me with a mix of anger and pity. I told you, man, he said softly. I told you I didn't do it. I nodded, guilt burning through me. I should have trusted you. He shrugged. You trusted your wife. I get it. We sat in silence for a long time. Finally, he said, what'll you do now? I looked around the house, our house that felt more like a crime scene than a home. The broken glass had been replaced, but the cracks in my heart hadn't. I don't know, I said quietly. Maybe start over. Somewhere no one knows me or her or what happened here. Mark nodded and stood. If you need anything, I'm still your friend. That hasn't changed. After he left, I walked into the living room. where the light from the window fell across the floor. I could still see the faint line where the glass had been swept up. It hit me then, the way lies can hide in plain sight, how easily love can become a weapon. I thought about Emily's last words, about how she said she loved me. Maybe she did in her own twisted way. But love built on lies isn't love. It's control. As I closed the door behind me, I whispered to the empty house, "Goodbye, Emily." And for the first time in weeks I felt something close to peace.